Ah! Welcome back, everybody. It's Silent Night. The final weekend is here. The day is here. Our final movie is here. And we're talking Saw, the prequels.
No, we're not. We're talking Home Alone. Just before we get started.
We're talking Home Alone?
Yeah,
My
just
mistake.
Before we get started,
I got confused.
Just before we get started, happy Christmas Eve, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. And leave a comment down below if you're excited for the big day tomorrow, unless you're watching it some other day. But it doesn't really matter. Home Alone, the Christmas classic. Let's talk about it. Does it still hold up?
I think it does.
I think it does,
I
too.
first saw this movie when I was about your age, and I really enjoyed it then. And I hadn't seen it for a long time until we watched it together, and it still really holds up. There's a little bit of cheese that comes with it because obviously it's a different time, a different era. But for the most part, it's still a really, really good movie, even though it's like 28, 29 years old.
Speaking of cheese, that's Kevin McAllister's favorite type of pizza, cheese pizza.
And in your Home Alone trivia, what's the name of the pizza place they order from?
Little Nero's Pizza.
Bing, bing, you win. Johnny, tell him what he's won. Yeah, if you guys are not familiar with this movie, I'm not sure why you're not familiar with this movie, but this movie is about a little boy who's having issues with his family. A night before they are to take a flight across the pond to Paris, he seems to have an issue with everybody. Everybody has an issue with him, and after some mishaps, he gets sent to the third floor to sleep. In the morning, everybody wakes, but they're late for their flight, and in all the commotion, he gets left behind. And yes, he is
Home Alone.
Home Alone, hence the title. He's left to fend for himself. And meanwhile, while all that is going on, there's a set of burglars known as the Wet Bandits who are scouting houses to rob while people are away during the holidays. What nice guys, huh?
Yeah, nice guys.
Played by Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, I believe. And they're burglars, and they have their eyes set on the McAllister house where little Kevin is left by himself, and he is left to essentially fight off these criminals as they try to break into his house. What did you think of the torture?
The torture is like the real torture, and that's where they get the Saw prequel part. And that's just funny part, but it's not really a prequel because Home Alone came out before the Saw movies.
So it would be a prequel because it came out before. Oh, whatever. The point is this. He sets up all kinds of different traps. There's a moment where one of them is coming through the door and kerosene pours on him and the torch lights up. So all the top of his head lights on fire and he has to run and put his hand in the snow. And when he comes out, he has a huge bald spot. I don't know why I find that it was so amusing because essentially it's torture, but there's something about it that's comical, right? The way it's done.
And I'm sure in real life they would have died because there's a scene where an iron falls on, what's his name?
Marv.
Marv. Shut up, Marv. Like where it lands on his head. I heard in real life he would have died, but because these guys have unbreakable skin, they're able to survive.
And essentially this movie should be rated R because of all the violence we get towards the final act, which is about 15-20 minutes long. But they find a way to make it comedic, which is kind of ironic because it's violent. But it still works. It still holds up. The comedy is pretty funny, and I think it's the way that these two burglars play the roles that it really makes it work.
And also, other thoughts on this film. This film does touch upon the part that at times kids hate their parents or vice versa and just don't like them and wish that they weren't with them. But then again, they make up and then they're all happy with each other. And I liked how this movie went to that.
I'm glad that you brought that up because being a child and now being a parent, I think that the parents were horrible as well. There's a lot of stuff that's going on the night before the flight where kids are essentially saying some really mean things to Kevin when he spills, what was it, Pepsi, the drinks?
Yeah, Kevin, you're such a disease.
Exactly, and the parents just stood there like, oh yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, call the youngest one in the family a disease and helpless and useless. Come on, parents, get it together. I just really didn't like how that was handled, and I know that it's supposed to be part of the story, but come on, parents, get it together. But yeah, Eric's right. Sometimes we have to be grateful for what we got, and even though at times families get annoyed with each other and you get in each other's space and in each other's nerves, deep down we care about each other and we want to be there for each other and we want to have each other around. Even at some points we wish that you would essentially disappear, as Kevin says in the movie. Anything you want to touch upon?
Yeah, some parts. It's this film. It's good. If you haven't seen it, I really recommend it. And also that whole plot with the neighbor, Old Man Marley, and the rumor that Buzz made up saying that his he killed his family is not true. But him and his son had gotten into big conflict, and then they just never saw each other again. And Kevin inspired him to go
Reach out to his family.
And at the last scene of this movie, we actually see his son and his son's family actually regroup with each other, and they're happy to see each other.
I like that they did that.
And even Chris Columbus said it was just going to end when he said, "I just hung out," but they decided to put that last scene. And, Kevin, what did you do to my room?
Exactly, and that's where the movie ends. But, like, I'm glad that you brought that up, that ending scene, because I really liked how they handle that at the end. And what's the old man's name?
Marley, I believe it is.
Old Man Marley, yeah. It's about perception and how this reputation got put on him from the neighbors or from Buzz or wherever it came from. It's about how it's someone who keeps to themselves. They're a bit strange and you don't really interact with them, and you make up this elaborate backstory that's completely false. And once Kevin got to know him, because throughout the film he runs into him a couple of times and he always runs away screaming. And once he got to know him, he actually found out that he's really an actually nice person. You know, he has problems like everyone else, but, you know, there wasn't nothing sinister about his backstory or anything like that.
Yeah, and that's really all I gotta say about this movie. So it's
Other
a great
than,
movie.
if you haven't seen it, go watch it. We haven't spoiled most of it anyway. You still have some funny laughs in there that you're gonna get out of it. If you haven't seen it, don't know why you haven't, but go and check it out. Let us know down below, where do you rank this amongst your favorite Christmas movies? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Is it meh? Is it whatever? Let us know down below. And that is all.
And happy Christmas Eve!